Hey, what's up? It's Eden. So hello, sorry, welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, I recently put out a film called Modern Diary. And today I wanted to kind of break things down bit by bit because I should have posted, I should have filmed behind the scenes things, and I did. But then I kind of ran out of space on my phone and I had to delete the footage for other things that I was doing. Today I literally just put a lot of my bigger files onto my computer. I don't know why I didn't think of doing that earlier, but I'm not there digitally, so that's fine. But I have dance in just over an hour, so let's get into it because I need to get ready soon. So I figure what I kind of want to do is, I think it's Variety or something, they do this so-and-so breaks down a scene. And that's like, okay, great, I want to break down the whole film. So they kind of watch a little bit and then they play a little bit on this thing and then they break down what they're looking at. So editing me, it's going to be a long slog for you. I'm actually filming this before I even release the film because I need time. Full transparency. Because today's Monday. I'm out pretty much all day Tuesday. And then I'm working Wednesday through Friday. And then I think I'm out again Saturday. Out again Sunday. So pretty much the whole week. But I have 5 hours here and there per day to do stuff. And then 12 hours hopefully to sleep. Yay. But here we go. Alright, Modern Diary. For those of you who haven't seen the film, it is a video diary, which is why I called it Modern Diary, because it's not written, it's modern, it's a video. Oh my gosh. And it's a video diary of this girl who has been tasked by her therapist to make these series of videos, because the girl herself is a filmmaker, or wants to be a filmmaker really, and her therapist knows this, and because she's not opening up in their personal, physical sessions, she's like, okay, just talk to a camera, just do that and we'll see how it goes. And it works out because we get a interesting look into this character's life. And is it based kind of on me? Really just the filmmaker part, I think. And then it's my teenage girl moodiness to 100. So a small portion is maybe like me, but it's mostly just me on steroids turned all the way up. So let's see, this is split up into 10 separate videos, and that's what we're gonna break down. So what's our first one? Yeah? Okay. I forgot I put the music. Wow, acting. My name is Kit Robin, and this is my story. First thing I want to say is when she's either very excited or putting up a facade or just, she goes more American. It's a little tell, but when she's very excited, very kind of manic energy, she goes more American. Just putting that out there. Okay, so it starts off black and white, music. I didn't even that wasn't even thought. I must have just done that last minute. And it's kind of her trying to trick us into thinking this is going to be some really serious documentary, and she's going to tell us about some serious trauma. And then she just kind of goes into how her day was, and that she's got a film premiering soon. This whole thing is kind of going up to this film premiere. And she's very excited the whole time. But that's her having a little bit of a joke with us. Regarding the framing, it's in what I would assume is an extreme close-up. I feel like an extreme close-up might be just the details, like an eye or something, but it's a very intense close-up. It's not a nice, comfortable close-up. And in her eyes, that's because she's excited, she's happy, she wants to let us in and let us see everything and really hear what she's talking about. But in my eyes, as the person who, storyboarded all this, is that it kind of makes you uncomfortable. So if this was being shown on a really, really big screen, there is pretty much nowhere to look but my face. you are locked in with me and my thought, or her and her thoughts and all the emotions that she's expressing and that I'm acting. So I wanted to make it uncomfortable just to kind of see, like, yes, she's happy, but maybe there's something just a little bit off. There's something almost artificial about her mood and her excitement. I didn't think of that before. I just thought of that on the spot. Oh my gosh. The lighting setup was literally, it was a bookshelf. I had the light on it, and then I had, I think, the tripod was next to the bookshelf or in front of the bookshelf. It was burning me. I looked so red. But it kind of makes you a little bit uncomfortable. It's like, okay, sun-kissed, okay. Yeah, so to wrap up, makes you a little uncomfortable. One light. What I kind of wanted to do was, like, slowly introduce more interesting lighting. So most of this is naturally lit or lit by one artificial light, but this was just kind of like a first, like, little, it's not too heavy. And also, fun fact, this is very excited and happy. I was not feeling particularly excited and happy when filming this, so where's my Oscar? Gimme. All right, video 2.
Oh my gosh. Okay, today was a day, all right? It was a day. So basically, to start, I don't think I've ever felt so motivated in my life. I came up with five new ideas today.
Okay, so one thing I really did have to think of with the videos is the transitions between them. So this first one, it's pretty chill. It's turn off, turning it back on, straight back into it. And so the first 3 videos of this film are all very happy. And so I was like, I have to keep the transitions quick and keep them fast. Yet again, very chill lighting setup as she talks about her day. And like, we kind of get insights into maybe her friend group isn't too good, and you know, she doesn't feel particularly liked, but she's kind of ignoring that for the moment. She's focused on what she wants to do. She's focused on her work, and she's not going to do anything else. I'm a little bit annoyed about the focus on this. It's a little soft in parts, but I literally rigged up my camera against my wall. I took the strap off and I put it underneath the camera. I don't remember how I attached it to the wall. And then I had 2 books or 3 books or something keeping the camera straight, but then the strap was keeping it to the wall. So it's like, there was no way I was going to get perfect focus with this weird rigging. Just like, because my bed was like this, but it was in the middle of the room. It's annoying. I did a whole room switch around, forgetting I had to do continuity, but luckily I didn't have any more scenes to shoot in this part of the room, so that was nice. But whenever I think, oh, I wish it wasn't that soft, it's like, I did my best.
And in it, one of the characters said, "Everybody wants my land, but what will you do to get it?"
That line, "Everybody wants my land, but what will you do to get it?" is in a book that I wrote. I think it was The Beleaguering Chronicles. And for those of you who don't know, I was an avid author when I was 12 to 14 years old. So go read it. It's one of my best books that I've written, I think. It's still not great because, you know, I was 14. But it's not bad.
Like, to make change. And I wrote like crazy.
Okay, so this lighting thing was so difficult because I had to turn off the light, turn on the thing, which had like 2 little knobs, and then, so there's a little bit of editing between that just to make the cuts a little bit quicker. But this is the first time we get to see a kind of crazy lighting thing, which is like kind of matching her mood. Also, forgot to mention, the framing, a little bit more pulled out. We're kind of been like, okay, something's a little odd. We can kind of start to relax a bit now. You can kind of get further away. And another kind of little in to her mental state is, you know, as I said, the better she feels, the more in we are. The worse she feels, the further away we are. So she's starting to kind of deteriorate. And then that poem that she says as well is something that I wrote. I didn't intend it for this, but I was like, kind of works for the character. But that is all I'd like to say about... Oh, and then the whole distracted bit is just kind of showing, like, her mind's all over the place. She's not quite in the same spot all the time.
My stupid mom wouldn't let me bring my camera, so I have to film on my phone.
The bee.
Oh my gosh.
I started off the video 3 with saying like, oh, my mum wouldn't let me bring my camera into the forest, because my mum actually wouldn't let me bring my camera into the bush. And so I was like, just in case there's like a camera quality difference, I should just preempt that. It wasn't scripted. I was just like, this is fine. And the next clip we see is me going, there's a bee. There's 2 bees. That actually happened. I don't know if I was accidentally recording or something, but I saw a bee and I was like, there's a bee. There's 2 bees. So I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, I'll keep that in. But anyways, onward.
My creativity's been off the charts, been like brainstorming and painting and storyboarding.
There are like little tidbits of American coming through, just a little bit, which might just be me. I watch a lot of American TV, but still. I also hate the audio in this. I couldn't figure out how to like reduce noise, so sorry guys, I'm one woman.
I'm watching a bunch of films, and my own film comes out in like 2 days. Like my outfit's finalized for now, but like I kind of want to buy some earrings.
Continuity error. Tell me if you pick this. I say I want to buy some earrings, and then in the next video, spoiler, I say I didn't buy earrings, and then in video 5 I'm wearing earrings. So let's just say I found my mum's earrings and I took those. Okay, let's just say that Kit just had earrings lying around. Alright, so shh. Alright, I don't really have much to say about this one. Not really much happens. She's just kind of like, I'm good, I'm really good, this is happening and this is happening, but then also life is kind of, does she mention her friends? The way that she starts the video as well is, I'm really good, I've been being good for about a couple weeks now. So that's another little thing of like, you weren't good before that? Why? Yeah, no, she does talk about her friend group again and how sucky school is, but she's still not showing that has any type of effect on her. This is one of my favorite transitions of the whole thing. Video 3 to video 4. Let's go.
I'm excited.
Wow. It's so stupid because it's like dark. It's kind of like dark comedy, kind of comedic timing of like, I'm so excited. Well, that didn't age well. I remember watching it for the first time in a few months because this was a project that I started and then came back to ages later. And I watched it and I was just like, well, that's actually kind of funny. Like, I feel like it's kind of stupid, but it knows it's kind of stupid. This is the kind of film that it is. It's kind of dumb and it's fun. But this is where we actually see kind of where she really is and has been. And it is the quintessential blanket over the head in her cave. It's kind of a funny image. It's kind of stupid, but I look like that when I'm sad and depressed, except I'm like, the blanket is fully over me and I am, in a fetal position or whatever. It's not quite that, but then, you kind of need to see my face because I'm acting, like I'm a narcissistic actor, you must see. No. Cool thing about this lighting was I did motivated lighting. I originally was just going to use the laptop light and I put it all the way to full brightness and did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. And the stupid thing about my camera is it does not shoot well in low light. I changed the ISO as much as I could, but it just does not shoot well. So I got a little ring light. You can actually kind of see the edge of it. You could just, if you were just watching it as a casual viewer, just be like, oh, it's the shadow or whatever. But that is a ring light. And I put the ring light in front of the laptop. I hid it as best as I could. And so there's a little bit of motivated lighting for you, which is very cool. Yeah, and she just kind of talks about her day. She's very upfront about it. She got mad at someone, but she doesn't feel bad about it, kind of thing. Yeah, and then also this is probably the furthest away we ever get from her in the framing. From what I know, I think this is the furthest away we get. So yeah, there's that little tidbit I was talking about. The farther away we get, the worse she feels. Another thing was I was very careful about the blanket being over my knees and stuff because number one, it's aesthetically pleasing. You don't just want skin hanging out. But it's also, I was covering up the mic. That was one of the ways I was covering up this mic. It's a character in itself. It's having its moment.
I'm not excited. Aww. I didn't get any earrings, so the outfit's done.
Didn't get any earrings. Yes, you did. Somehow.
I'm terrified.
With the acting choices, I don't usually try to plan out, you know, where I'm going to look, what I'm going to do. But I did think, like, for this, she's going to address the camera at, like, pivotal points. I just tried to choose the best points that I thought would work, that would kind of hit. Just, like, looking away, shame, I'm terrified. And it's kind of stylistic, and it's kind of, like, you know, but we'll get to that.
I have to sit in a room full of strangers who are all watching something that I created.
I was originally going to have little gifs of eyes opening, and it actually took me so long, but then I realised afterwards it looked a bit stupid. But, yeah. In short, she has a little bit of a freak out. Video 5. This is... Oh, actually, no. She's a bit of a freak out, and then she starts to get off, can't wait for tomorrow, tries to get off the bed, can't, just has a bit of a moment. And I find that when I'm really sad and when I'm really depressed or whatever, it's hard to move. Your limbs feel heavy. So just getting off the bed is so difficult. And it's kind of like you set up the tripod, you set up the camera, you set up the thing. We'll get to that. So, the film is out. Got some interesting lighting going on. Okay. Video 5 is an 8-minute monologue. It was originally going to be 5 minutes, but I decided to take my time with those pauses and really drag it out. So, it is an 8-minute monologue that I learnt in 1.5 days. Thank you. I know. I'm so amazing. I honestly have no idea how I did it. Maybe it was the fact that I wrote it. Maybe the fact... It was like... it's like 2.5 something pages. It was big writing, so like it probably wasn't actually that long. It was just the amount of pauses. But, okay. So in this point of the story, the premiere has happened. Her film is out. And she starts off kind of having these weird feelings of like... she just kind of talks about the night. And she's like, I didn't really want to go. I wasn't in a great place, as you saw. We had a little premiere, red carpet thing. I spoke to a couple people, but I probably sucked. She's not depressed, but she's still being very cynical about it. And this lighting, which I wanted to be like a proper spotlight, is meant to just show her feeling kind of watched. She felt very watched and very judged by everyone around her. She was put on the spot. She wrote the thing. She's in the thing. She probably directed the thing, you know. And this is actually based on a feature film that I wrote and how I feel like it might go down if I was in like the school environment that I used to be in when I had put it out. I haven't put it out yet. I'd love to. Before versus after, if you saw that monologue. I would love to make that film. But yeah, this is lighting. That's when she's very worried. And cool that I ripped it apart. I should have been able to show you. It's a sunset lamp, and I got an A4 piece of paper and I wrapped it around the lamp so it made the stream of light smaller, because before it was covering my whole closet doors, and then so it just kind of centralized the light a little bit more so that it was on her and looked a lot better. So that was pretty cool, but the paper was so flimsy, so it's not quite a perfect circle, but best I could do on a budget, man. Also the flippin' earrings, Eden. But I mean, I look good, so can't really complain. The lights went down, and then it started. And I was fine. I didn't realize how bad that transition looked. Okay. And there's no sound as well, which I hate. Okay, so basically, The first part of this monologue is her getting up to when the film starts. And then obviously when a film starts, lights go down, projector comes up. And it was a very difficult transition to do, considering that I couldn't just turn the projector on, but that's fine. Also, fun fact, a lot of these videos took me 2 to 3 takes, maybe more, depending on like what it was. But this, my baby, 1 take per block, because I thought it's so long, I need to change it up a bit with the lighting and the angles and things. So, but I'm very proud, very proud. So it goes into this projector, and I look very washed out, but that's because my camera was being a dick and not shooting it well, and then the projector was shooting these weird light leak, like green bars across the screen, and it was all very stupid. So it's not the greatest looking shot I've ever made in my life, because the projector didn't put out enough light, so then I had to put 2 ring lights in front of me and try to motivate that. And then I was trying to get the picture behind me. The video is actually a man on a horse, and I believe it was one of the first, or the first film ever made, so I thought it's kind of cool. She's making films, it's the first film, little homage to history. But yeah, definitely not my favorite, but it gets better. It does get better with different angles. It looks a bit better. But yeah, and also I just look so washed out. I looked so good before, and now I'm just like, hey girl. Like, I'm pretty good at watching myself on screen. I can kind of remove myself from the situation. It doesn't really feel like that's me on the screen, so that's helpful. My bun looks so funny in the shadows. But it got to a point like just slightly halfway, just past halfway through the film, like towards the end. So this is where she starts to kind of like break down a little bit. The camera angle gets weird, which is mostly because I wasn't working in great space, but it works, it plays, it sells. She starts to talk about how she kind of started to freak out. Things were getting a little bit confronting. And she feels like she really, really needs these people's approval. It isn't a wanting. She doesn't just want the film to do well. She needs it to do well, because this is everything she has. She has given all of herself to this film, doing all these different roles. The film itself is very personal to her and based on herself. If people don't like it, she will die. She will actually die. And we started to see like, okay, so maybe she does need therapy, because my goodness.
You know, I was terrified, because it was weird, because I couldn't read their reactions. You know, like, and even if I could, I would question them. Like, if somebody laughed, I would wonder, like, did I write it that way? Was it meant to be funny? I couldn't remember. So my breath quickened, and I felt really, really sweaty, and I just felt like I absolutely just had to get out of there, because the walls felt like they were closing in, and so I just had to get out of there.
So she's questioning, she is panicking, spotlight back. She feels watched. She is dying. So that's why the spotlight comes back. And it's also great because we don't have to see any more of that terrible projector. Oh, another cool thing about the projector. Okay, so I originally wanted it behind me, but I didn't have a shelf. So then I was like, having it in front of me. It blinded me. I was like, oh, I'll have it to the side. I'll have the picture hitting the side of my face. I couldn't get it hitting the side of my face. So I have a full-length mirror, which you may have seen in some of my other YouTube videos. And I got the mirror, and I kind of rigged it against the side of my dresser there. And I bounced the projector off the mirror onto the wall behind me, which is how we get the picture kind of like here-ish. Am I a genius or am I a genius, right? So doing ingenuity with the sunset lamp and the paper, and then I'm very proud of myself. I gotta say, I'm sorry, but I am. So then she talks about the logistics of her panic attack.
And I saw a statue in the foyer, and I was like holding on to it for dear life, just something just to bring me back to earth, and I was fanning myself in my hands, trying to cool myself down. I was just panicking.
And she kind of gets close to having a panic attack herself. She just has to kind of collect herself.
Hang on. Wow, lightheaded.
I actually was lightheaded. That was an ad lib. Also, spot the mic. Dun, 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 dun. It's here. There are moments where you can kind of see the mic, but I'm going to tell you why I left those in, alright? You're going to find out.
And,
I better not forget to tell you.
I removed myself from the situation. Got through to the end. And then, it ended. Cut to black.
Cut to black, and we cut to black. What? I accidentally got the line wrong, by the way, in the next bit, which I don't know what I say, but it was meant to be silence. Credits start to roll. More silence, but I mixed it up. Doesn't hit quite the same, but it's still okay. So we just kind of sit in black for a little bit, as they would have in the theater, and it's just kind of mirroring. This video is just kind of mirroring what was happening in her recollection. Storytelling, guys. Oh my gosh. Credits roll. And there's silence. And more silence. And then, of course, they applaud. Dun dun dun. It was the greatest feeling of my entire life. To be loved like that. So now she feels this validation that she's been craving and searching for this whole time. She doesn't get it from her classmates. She doesn't get it from her teachers. She probably doesn't get it from her parents. You know, she feels like she doesn't even get it from her therapist. She's not even talking to her therapist. She doesn't get this validation from anyone but the people who have seen her work. And she identifies with her work so much. She says her work is me. It is everything she has. You know, she's like, I know it's not me being loved. I know it's my work, but my work is me. Which is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous mindset, okay? Don't be doing that. Anyways, regarding the lighting, I wanted it to be pink. I wanted it to be pink for love. But I figured that's more romantic love, and I couldn't get a pink light, and I just really wanted to get this thing out because it had taken like a year off my life, and it was just like, ugh. So I used, can you see it? Can you see the light? Next to my calendar, that light right there. It is a yellow light. It's warm, you know, warm love. I don't like the framing. It's too much headroom, but you know. I'm just a girl. And this is kind of, she's balanced, but there's still that hint of kind of mania. And I'm not saying that no one be like, oh, you can't just use mania. I would identify her as probably bipolar or borderline or something.
I mean, I know it wasn't me being loved, you know, it was my work, but my work is me. You know, it's what I put my worth into. I know I shouldn't, but honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
She's self-aware, but she's like, I don't care. It made me feel good. I'm going to keep doing it, which is exactly what drug addicts say. Don't do drugs, kids.
No, and then, after all these revelations and stuff, I have to go out there and do a stupid question and answer. You know, I have to answer a bunch of impulsive, half-baked questions from a bunch of randos. Like, just let me sit in it and just bake in it. And like, I couldn't.
What's interesting here is she goes from, you know, completely taking in this love, as she calls it, and just like putting it so high on her list of things that she wants. And then she turns those exact same people into stupid people who have half-baked impulsive questions. It's like, pick a lane. Pick where you're at. She's all over the place.
You know, I'm going to make stuff. I'm going to create. I'm going to chase that feeling, and I'm going to make my mark on this world. I don't think we have much time left, but for the time we do have, you best believe I'm going to make it count.
Worst transition of my absolute life, but I was so tired. It was late. I could not be bothered to do it again. I had to flip the image. The shadow's on the wrong side. Shut up. But you cannot tell me that my eyes do not look crazed. So as I said before, she seems balanced, but there's still a little bit of that energy. And then she brings you right back in we're right back to the beginning of the film, and she's just as kook. She's just as cuckoo. She is so overwhelmed with the love of these people that she's losing it again, and it's not good. And that's the end of video 5, guys. One of my favorite things I've ever done. So much fun in one take on all of them. Not great transitions and things. But one thing you may notice is that it's very stylized. This is just meant to be a diary, right? Like, she's meant to be having these authentic talks about her life. It's all very, I can't think of the word, it's very dressed, you know? It's like a set. It's a set. So, it doesn't seem like it's a very authentic thing that she's saying, but we'll get to that. On the little music thing at the end, I love that. It's like the beginning of like a 2.5-minute piece that I got from Pixabay. Pixabay Music, it's free. I use like pretty much everything in here is from there, so that's great. But yeah, so that's the end of video 5. We're on to video 6 now. So we started off so we were very close in video 5. We start off pulled away. So she's not feeling good. It's all naturally lit. I am wearing a terrible looking t-shirt, does nothing for my figure. But it's the next day.
I don't know what I was thinking. The movie did so well last night, and now I have to impress again. I got some texts this morning from people asking me what's next for me, and I thought I knew.
So then we come a little bit closer, not necessarily because she's feeling any better, but just because she's like, she wants to talk directly to you. She's like, so she's very insecure. I mean, she's a kid, right? Usually the filmmakers who have to deal with this kind of pressure are a lot older and hopefully, not always, but hopefully have the mental resources to deal with this kind of pressure. She, as we know, does not. She's got pretty much no one to fall back on, you know? So she's just like, I don't know what I was talking about with all these ideas. She's like, it's like a different person. It's that same kind of ambition and wanting to succeed, but with a very different mindset. Before she started off, she was happy-go-lucky, everything's great, everything's going to work out, I'm going to do this. Now she's just as ambitious and she wants to succeed, but she's a lot more practical and a lot more cynical, a lot more insecure about it, which is maybe probably the closest we get to seeing the real her. You know, that isn't like, not the super depressed version of the real her, but just balanced and freaked. Kind of. Maybe not balanced, I don't know, but whatever. Not really much to say about video 6. Let's go to video 7.
I suck at what I do. Bottom line, I suck at it.
And then we're back. I forgot we're back to this. Literally one line. It's, I've got nothing and I'll never have anything ever again. Look to camera. Yet again, trying to be intentional with that. With the looks to camera. Which doesn't seem very authentic. Why would you be intentional about something if you're in the moment? Kit? It's kind of funny because if you really do look, you can see how my hair gets longer. This is the longest it's been in like a while. In this thing, it was very short. You can see my teeny tiny ponytail, which is very silly. It's been a week. We're a week into this. Hopefully you've enjoyed consuming the remains of my heart, mind, and soul, because that's what I've been feeding you. I got teased for the film today by some. Not because, I mean, that they hadn't seen it. They just thought that me putting out a film, like the action of putting it out was cringe. So, didn't bother me. My friends knew nothing about it, despite me having talked about it multiple times. They had no idea. Video 8 is an interesting kind of respite from this, you know, two ends of the spectrum. And it's kind of weird. It's like, where did this come from? Why does she seem kind of normal? The camera framing, it's very average, it's very chill. She seems a little iffy. She's a little bit like, you're just really just getting to know me, aren't you? This is just so great. Oh my gosh. Screw you, Sally. But for the most part, she seems okay, question mark. She also talks about how she was teased for the film. So I think when I figured this out, the last 2 days were a weekend. So she's gone back to school and she has just been hit with this barrage of teasing and hate. So that's great. But her drama teacher liked it. She's got her drama teacher. Wonderful. Yay! Because that's all we need, right? Is one drama teacher. Girl needs Jesus. Find your worth in him. You know, so she gets teased by everyone, but her friends are like, huh? It's like, you are her friends. No idea. It's like, why would you? You don't ask about my life kind of thing. And why would I, volunteer any information? You guys suck. So that kind of vibe. Oh wait, no, she did tell them. I was like, I'm going to wing this. It's going to be fine. I'm not going to script this. I've just completely forgotten. It's been a minute. But no, she did tell them. And they just kept forgetting because they're stupid. I'm good. Like, I'm back to being good, honestly. Last few videos were just a 4-day moment of weakness. And, I'm okay now. Actually. Despite all this, she says that she's good. And then to finish off, she gives us a little... I'm just like, girl, you do not seem good. And so that's the end of that one. Not much to say about it, camera wise or lighting wise, but she says she's good, but she doesn't seem that good. And I actually put that little bit in the trailer and I showed it to my brother and he's like, why'd you do that weird smile? I'm like, 'cause she's faking, bro. What's this video? Video 9's next. That was video 8. Hi, Sally. Now, this is not what I wanted it to be, but it still works, okay? I wanted sunset. I wanted a bridge. I got blue, and I got a bridge that I couldn't show, because if I did, then you would see a field. So, this is the scene. This is the scene. Where the more kind of empathetic folk, the more kind of subtexty folk, will kind of figure out why she goes to see her therapist. If you didn't watch it, if you didn't catch it, spoiler alert, she tried to commit suicide. And this was the bridge that she jumped off. And, or maybe she didn't jump. I don't know. No, she did jump. She was in hospital for a very long time. That's what I've decided. So she jumped, and it didn't work out, wasn't high enough, or didn't land the right way. And she, because of this whole ordeal that she's kind of gone through, has gone back to it. And she worries that maybe she would have tried again or whatever. But she just kind of talks about how she was lying in the previous video, as we already said. She was not feeling good. She doesn't feel good. And I quite like that the blue lighting was happening instead of the yellow, or orange, because it is that, very sad lighting and very depressed lighting. But she talks about how she was lying in that. She came back here, thought she might try again, but really, she just sees the beauty, because as we can see, she's in nature. Just pretend the bridge is high. It's not high, okay? Don't worry, I was in no danger. But you can't get a high bridge without a bunch of cars, and I'm not going to film there. That's going to suck. So, I did the best of what I could. But, yeah, and one line that she says that I'm very proud of myself for saying, and I actually ad-libbed bars after I said it. I'll play it on there. I won't play it here. I'm proud of myself for being able to come here and see this place for what it is, not what it means to me. Bars. And she also says, maybe if I'd been focusing on the beauty of this place, I wouldn't have to see you now. So she wouldn't have actually tried. So, I mean, it's really just what I'm trying to say with that. And, this is kind of case-by-case basis. But sometimes, if you look past yourself and the sucky things they're going through, not to discredit anything that might be happening. And if you look outside yourself and just try to find anything that is positive or beautiful or wonderful, that might be enough just to kind of brighten things up a little bit. Maybe not. Try it out. I don't know. As I said, case by case basis. It'll work for some, it won't work for others. Some things are just, well, no. I don't think anything's too terrible. There are many terrible things, but there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think as a world, we need that. We need hope, because, geez, man, there's so much going on, and it's so bad. And maybe that's contributed to this character's state of mind, and I know many real people's state of minds. And it can end very badly. So, I don't know, just trying to see good stuff. Because sometimes it's hard to find. Sometimes it's really, really hard to find. Just follow those, like, social media pages that are, like, good vibes, or good dot vibes. And then you see, like, babies hugging goats or whatever. I don't know. Just something sweet like that is a little bit like, oh, I don't know. Find something to live for sure. But yeah, that's kind of what she's talking about, is she just, for her situation, she just had to look outside of herself because she was overthinking everything. It was all internal. And maybe what is wrong with her is, or not wrong with her, but maybe what's going on is genetic. Maybe it's just the fact that she's incredibly self-centered. I think it's the latter. But, you know. But that's video 9. We've kind of taken a more philosophical approach on that one. But, I don't know, not really much to say about camera or lighting, except it's not what I wanted it to be. But yeah. Also, focus is soft. I can see that it's on the leaves. I didn't even notice that. I think when I go back a bit, it's annoying because I wanted there to be more looking room. But if I went any further right, I would have ended up in the leaves. And if I'd put the camera any further left, you would have seen the field. So that's fine. Also, this is where I filmed part of The Crate, which was my first ever by myself short film. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, that's covering the kind of all bases on that. Also, I kind of like how the light changes. It gets dark and then it kind of goes lighter again, and she's talking about lighter things. Lighting was a paid actor, and then it kind of gets dark again. But that's fine. What is she talking about here?
I was alone. I sat in silence in my friend group.
She's talking about sad things again. Ah! The Lord shined his face upon me that day. He really said, I'm going to move the clouds for you. So well. And I said, thank you. This is also out of focus, but I was never going to get it in focus. This is video 10, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what I've been alluding to the whole time. This is where the twist is revealed, if you will. And it's kind of a stupid twist. And I almost didn't include it because I was like, maybe video 9 is a wonderful way to end it. But part of me is like OCD. I want it to be 10 videos. But then the also part is kind of like, there have been little things throughout the film that have kind of been building up to this kind of twist. So in video 10, you know, we know that she's been trying to figure out a new idea, a new film, anything. And she sends this to Sally. She says, I've got it. This is it. This is the film. You know, it's got a beginning, middle, and an end. It's perfect. And so you can kind of interpret this in a few different ways. The way that I would like to say it is that she had made this diary before, and it was authentic. It was her setting up a camera, talking to the camera, sending it to her therapist kind of thing. And that was the original kind of thing. But then video 10 happens in real life, and she realizes this is actually a really good video film idea. I'm going to make it again. So she gets all these videos that she's made, and she storyboards it. She figures out the framing. She figures out what she wants to say. She puts up all the lights. She writes down everything that she said in the original things, and that's what it is. And it's kind of like her taking advantage of this really mentally sucky journey that she's been in, which is like kind of empowering, I guess. when you really think about it. It's kind of like, okay, queen, slay, go do it, as you should. But it's also just kind of weird. Like, should that not be kept private? But she wants attention. She wants fame. She wants people to love her or to love her work. So it's out of focus. It's all over the place. There's a bunch of sticky notes behind me of ideas that she's had. The spinning light comes back, and my eyes are just not like a person's the whole way through. It's just weird and crazy. But that's the idea. So interpret this monologue how you will, but the reason that you kind of see the mic, you kind of, there's so many lights and things, she's messy. If there's a mic, it doesn't matter. There's lights everywhere because she's done it again. She's thought it through this time. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I've been working up to this whole video. So then the choices don't stop there with the videos. Video 10 just makes me uncomfortable. I hate seeing myself with it. I can just see the bags under my eyes. I'm just like, ugh, so I'm not even going to play it. But then we go to where we would think the credits would roll, and we get reviews, which I like to think that Kit wrote herself. Like, she saw her film back and then realized like little negative things, so she was like, I'm going to put reviews at the end, and then just so that I'm self-aware about the things that I didn't like. And it's kind of things that I was like, what if someone picks up on this kind of thing? So the first one is a self-absorbed portrayal of a struggling teenager. It makes for an uncomfortable watch. Because she's just like, is it just self-absorbed? Am I just a narcissist? And it's by Anonymous, because no one will own their opinions, including herself. The character doesn't learn anything. She just stays in the climax and doesn't go anywhere. Not worth the watch. Another thing that I thought was maybe a bad thing, but I'm preempting it. I'm preempting the negative reviews, as is Kit. Me and Kit, we won, man. We are one. This isn't based on me, by the way. Just a teenager trying to be edgy and meta, go back to school. She is in school, I'm not, but whatever. And then I put Freed, a film by Kit Robin, coming soon. And that's just kind of showing, like, looking ahead, I don't think that her film did very well, but it's kind of showing she's done more. Something's going to come. She hasn't tried again. She hasn't freaked out. She's still living. She's still with us today. Freed is not a film that I'm making, though. Do not expect a film called Freed, unless I decide to make a sequel to this. Who knows? Maybe I will. But for the time being, Freed is a fake film that is simply meant to show that Kit is not dead, and she has continued to make things. So yeah, that's Modern Diary. And then I believe and then we put a bunch of numbers on the screen, and I figured it's on YouTube. I don't have to keep it up that long. People can pause if they need it, because I figured it was important. And then you hear me sing. As of right now, the song only has 2 verses. I need to work on it so that I can release the full version. But I thought it was kind of cool. The song, I listened to City of Stars earlier, and I was singing City of Stars. That's talking about Hollywood. That's where Kit wants to be. So I started the song with, I'm gonna make it to Hollywood. I'm not gonna sing for you. Not for free. Whatever. But yeah, the song is, as of right now, it's still being written. But it is about her wanting to go to Hollywood and kind of the lengths that she will get to be there, and how she knows it's probably not that great a place, but she wants to be there anyway because she's an attention seeker. And I thought it would be kind of funny. I know when I originally had the idea, I was just going to do different spellings of my name for like actor, director, writer, whatever. But I just decided to do kind of stupid like special thanks to. So it starts with my parents, which is true. And then online shopping, because I got like a couple of the lights and things from online. Google Docs, because I wrote it on Google Docs. And then rambling, because that's literally what the whole film is. And then finish it off with, and anyone who's never been thanked before, thank you. Because everyone deserves to be thanked every once in a while. That's what I think. But anywho, that's Modern Diary. If you stuck around to the end, geez, are you obsessed with me? Goodness gracious. Nah, that's actually really sweet if you did. I've always wanted to make a film. I always wanted to make a video like this. I always put a lot of thought into my films, and I don't really put it out there that I do put this much thought into it. But I thought it could be kind of cool, whether somebody watches these things or not, that it can just be on the internet and solidified and just shown to anyone who watches it, or even just to myself, that I do not make these films lightly. You know, I don't just chuck a bunch of videos together. I actually really do think about it, and that's what all the film directors do, and people like to hear about that. They like to hear about the behind the scenes. So I was like, I don't care, I'm not famous, let's do it. Who cares? So this is gonna be such a slog to edit, but I gotta get ready for dance. It is in currently 27 minutes, so I better go get dressed. But y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Eden Taylor. If you haven't seen Modern Diary, it's incredibly spoiled for you, but you should still go watch it. I started the whole thing just as an acting exercise for myself, and now it has turned into one of the things I am most proud of. And I can now learn monologues so much easier. So stick around, because I'm going to post way more. And no idea what my next film will be. No idea. But stay tuned. I'm trying to do more YouTube. It's going to be good. Love y'all. Adios. See you later.